Have you ever wondered, how does trauma become the identity of a human being? How do you go from an event, a stimulus that happens to you in your life, to replaying the same exact thought process over and over again for the rest of your life? It's actually a very simple process, but it happens behind the scenes. So if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you don't know how to stop this pattern, loop cycle from occurring. Let's start this process off today by teaching you what the master causal architecture of human experience really is. Because you are the actual architect. You are actually building the house, the vessel, the land that you call yourself through your own life experience. And I'm going to show you just how these events, these traumas that you perceive as traumas, shape your identity. Okay, let's break this down first by starting off with the question. And this statement is, how does trauma become your identity? I'm going to tell you how. Now, how this begins to imprint. It starts off with an event. What's the event? Maybe you sprained your ankle. Maybe you got in a fight. Maybe you got in an argument. Maybe you got served divorce papers. Maybe you got left. Maybe you got abandoned. Maybe you got raped, sexually assaulted. Something happened to you that you can now call as a stimulus. So you can say event right here. This is also a stimulus. What does that mean? It stimulates your energy. The issue is that when you have a stimulus, if you don't have the capacity to be able to absorb that stimulus, something's going to be left over and residue left over inside your body. Because all these events and emotions are hardwired, a record of the past, and stored inside your body. So this first thing that happens is the event itself. Now, the event that occurs, it may be intense, it may be sudden, it may be overwhelming, or it may even be repeated. You've heard stories of young men, young women who got sexually assaulted by a family member for years as they were younger and growing up. You've heard bullying. Those are events that happen over and over and over again. And the event itself is not stored as good or bad. It's not stored as good or bad inside your body. Okay? It's stored as sensory data. Because think of your body as an actual biological computer. It's all it is. Okay? It's just a really highly advanced biological computer. Now, these events may be sudden, they may be overwhelming, they may also be repeated over time, but stored as sensory data that's sound, like sound, pressure, temperature, tone, facial expression, physical force, absence of protection. That's also data. So how you felt at that moment. I felt alone. I felt lonely. I felt like I was outnumbered. I felt overwhelmed because I was inferior. These things that are playing through your head, and you can always set the scene of when these events happen. You can be walking somewhere, that event took place 20 years ago in your life, and all of a sudden those same things and emotions will come back up because it's in a record. Okay? So what happens then, the second thing, your nervous system, it registers this intensity, and so now all of a sudden it starts to calibrate after this event. The issue is that if, like I said, the stimulus of that event exceeds the system's current capacity, the ANS system, which is the autonomic nervous system, shifts into fight or flight protection mode. This is the problem. Because then what happens is you're in fight, you're in flight, you're in freeze, you're in collapse. Someone's on you, you can't get them off, so you surrender, or something's happening across the way. You might see a car accident, somebody, or maybe you ran over something, or anything. These responses are now coming to you because of you're now in sympathetic resonance, not parasympathetic, rest and digest. So now, all of a sudden, your hormones begin shifting. After this, your breath begins changing. No longer breathing through your diaphragm. You're shallow breathing. Muscle tone begins to alter. Blood flow starts to redistribute. Now, this is not adaptation, okay? Or excuse me. Now, this is adaptation. It's not weakness, okay? It's not where you just all of a sudden you're overwhelmed, you're just, an inferiority, which people label as inferiority. It's not. It's beginning to adapt to what's happening because it needs to protect you. So, if the stress cycle completes, if the event happens, and all of a sudden you let the event occur and go through, the system resets itself. If it does not complete, the system never calibrates itself to its baseline threat detection. What does that mean? That means that someone ran up in your house with a gun, or someone ran up on you or your family member or your dog. Each time you walk your dog outside, now you think there's a bigger dog that's going to come and eat up your dog. So you walk outside in fear the entire time, expecting something bad to happen. You're always expecting something bad to happen because literally the event did not get to play out. You didn't get to let it go through. And so now you have the third thing that happens, interoceptive distortion. You need to have an awareness of the body's internal sensing network. That's interoception. It senses everything that's going on inside of your body. Senses your arousal, your excitement, your fatigue. Everything that's happening on your dashboard, in your vessel, is meant to be shown and displayed to you through what's called interoception. So if you can feel how you've been feeling, that's interoception. I feel nervous. I feel this coming on when I walk through this door. I feel this, I start to feel hot. I start to feel warm. Right? You can sense the changes inside your body at any moment in time. And those are neutral sensations only. But they begin to be misread by you. So what does that mean? That means that now arousal, even sexual arousal, it begins to be dangerous. How about excitement and joy? It starts to feel like loss of control. Like you can't even laugh. If somebody tickles you, you feel like it's uncomfortable. How about vulnerability? Being able to share and be vulnerable and be truthful. You feel like it's a threat. Someone's going to take whatever you say and misuse it. How about fatigue? How about I'm just tired? You feel inadequate. And these are just things that happen. These are just primary examples. I know these are examples in my life. Because when I'm tired, I feel inadequate. When I'm tired, if I've been going all day, working all day, training all day, studying all day, I just feel something at the end of the day like, God, man, what's going on with me? Man, I'm just not good enough. Like you start to hear these weird thoughts coming through your head. It's just literally fatigue. But now your dashboard is flickering on and off. So think about you driving on the highway, driving on the 405 or the 101, and you don't even see miles per hour. You don't have no map, no road map, no radio, nothing. You don't know how much gas you got in the car. You're basically just riding blind in your own vessel, which is your human body. So now, this is the biological failure. It's not a moral failure. It's not you, not being closer to God or you sinning and they get all that shit out of your mind. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just literally based on biology of your belief system. Okay? Your system is helping you. It's attempting to overprotect because now it sees you set the stimulus that you cannot handle. Okay? How about perception and meaning? That's next. Beliefs and meaning. The brain now builds a story to explain the body's current state of awareness. You are the narrator and you're actually the author, the producer. You're producing the entire movie and you're narrating the movie at the same time. You must be aware of both of these and not go unconscious as you are writing the story. Most people still narrate the story, but they forget that they're still writing the story at the same time. Okay? So now you start to say, I'm unsafe around this person. I don't trust these people. This opportunity, I'm not taking it. This person does not love me or not care about me. Try to just start making up all these things like your head. I can't get the bigger thing because I don't have enough time or enough money. So I can't say yes to things anymore. My body's not my body. Like, this person owns me. You start saying all types of crazy things. Intimacy in any way, shape, or form, that's equating to harm of some kind, and I might get hurt. How about power? Power is dangerous. So I have to have it, because if somebody else has it over me, then that's going to be dangerous to me. How about I must control everything around me to survive? Everything has to be controlled. I have to know what's going on with everything, everybody, at every moment in time, point in space. These are the stories that are flowing through your head at this moment in time. All because of the event, the stimulus that you cannot handle. Now, let's keep going. What happens is these interpretations, which are actually biases, they become predictive models, and your brain works in a way where it needs to predict the next outcome for you based upon your belief pattern. So if you believe in poverty, your brain must create an environment and bring you attracting things to you that create poverty, because it has to do whatever it takes to make you right. So now those predictive models are not conducive to your growth. Okay? So the brain does not passively observe your reality. It's not passively observing. Like what I said, it's predicting it because you are the author and you're the narrator at the same time. So it's filtering sensory data through that prediction. This is why your perceptions and your meanings are infinitely powerful. If the prediction is a threat, neutral events are predicted and interpreted as threats. So now your perceptions become self-reinforcing, and here starts this loop cycle pattern. Now, you heard in the previous videos I've talked about mistaken goals. It's mistaken goals. Well, at number 5, to reduce discomfort, your psyche adopts the strategy of mistaken goal activation. That's attention seeking. That's power struggle at your sacral. That's revenge at your solar plexus. That's inadequacy, unhelplessness at your heart. That's literally superiority speaking through your throat. That's community competition versus community at the third eye. And then at the crown, you have a lack of courage to be disliked. So then you don't become yourself. You're not authentically yourself. Those are the mistaken goals. And so now we're going into these attempts to regulate a dysregulated system, body. And these behaviors, mistaken goals, they're all protective. Okay? They're protective. They're designed by you somehow to protect you. So people say I've heard this term, self-sabotaging behavior. I don't really believe that. I think people have a mistaken goal in mind, and they create an event, or they create the conditions to achieve that goal. And that's where it becomes the problem. You're saying that you want harmony, but literally you're going through saying I need attention. So instead of creating harmony, which could be easily obtained by apologizing, saying I'm sorry, somebody's coming through or something, confession, forgiveness, whatever, you will hold on to something the entire time just because you choose to be right, not do what's right based upon a mistaken goal. You see, people don't get up and just walk across the street by accident. You get up, walk across the street because you have a goal to walk across the street. You don't do things without a goal to do them. I didn't get here, write this all on the board, take the time to produce an entire script and a video to teach you all today without having the goal of showing up and sharing my knowledge. I had to have a goal. It didn't just happen by chance. So if you don't understand that whenever you get up, you should not go through your day until you have it finished. You should create the day in your head. You should write down the plan for the day the previous night before. You should already have everything on an outlook so that whenever you get up, you already know where you're going to be going to. You know what your goals are. You know how to accomplish tasks and get things done and prioritize correctly. People don't do this because you aren't thinking that these goals are what's driving you towards your behavior. You're angry at somebody hurt you. You perceive that they hurt you. So you know what you're going to do? That's the solar plexus. That's the goal of revenge. Now I'm going to give you back the same pain that I felt that you gave to me. But that's not true. That's not true, you see. Because in a real sense, in a mirrored perspective, an assimilation perspective that we're living in, you are literally giving yourself the harm that you perceive somebody else gave to you. It's you. So you from experience. Everybody has to go through this. Okay? So, what happens next is you now have behavioral reinforcement. What is that? The strategy that you're obtaining is now becoming a habit. Okay? Well, I'll actually define this even deeper. I'll say you'll have 4 domains. This behavioral reinforcement. You'll have 4 domains. One of them is diet. One of them is going to be movement. One of them is going to be speech. One of them is also going to be intimacy. What happens to these 4? At the first one, diet. What's the reinforcement? Sugar, caffeine, alcohol. Why? Because at this first stage, you have to numb or stimulate yourself. Smoking. And recreational drugs. That's what's happening based upon diet. How about next? Movement. You begin to do this superiority overtraining. I can wreck my body and come back the next day. Or shut down. You don't do it at all. You don't even get up and you don't even step foot in the gym. You feel like you're so inadequate. There's no movement at all. Well, how about next? Speech. Speech is, I'm helpless. So speaking helpless. Victim language. You start speaking helpless or aggressive. It's just 2 sides. You start speaking it out like I'm in here like a shell, or just speaking like this here. Like you're on top of somebody. Just 2 sides. How about intimacy? Withdrawal. This is the common one that I've seen is withdrawal. Withdrawal first, then you have dominance, then you have reenactment. But withdrawal is usually the common one, mostly men, because they feel like they can't win. Sometimes women, but mostly men. I had this happen. I watched my father do it too. It's just a thing where you go into a relationship, you're thinking that you can get your point, make your point, give instruction, you care, but the person is dysregulated so they can't hear you. You're on 2 different wavelengths. This is why miscommunication even happens in the first place, because of incoherence on one side. Someone has to go and regulate themselves before you go in to have a conversation. Repeated behavior reinforces your chemistry. And then repeated chemistry reinforces your identity. We're going to get to that because we have this pyramid right here, which is the master causal pyramid. Right now we're talking about how trauma becomes your identity. We're going to move all the way through, but then we're going to cycle through to the solution set. So now your body's becoming conditioned to its own narrative because like I told you before, you are the narrator and you are the writer of your own storybook. Finally, the destiny loop. Let's say the destination loop. Let's call it that. Destination loop. What's happening here? Your relationships are now going to mirror your calibration or lack thereof, meaning you're going to draw in crazy bitches, crazy men, because you crazy. It's not them. You are the broadcasting station and the receiving set for your patterns of thought. Whatever you're thinking, you will become what you think about most of the time. Listen to Earl Nightingale. Says it all the time. What I'm saying to you is all of a sudden your own identity is going to be reflected just based upon the event, the stimulus. People become broke. People become homeless. People become criminals. People change all of a sudden because these events that did not allow to cycle through their bodies, pedophiles, all kind of crazy, disgusting, distorted things they become because they did not allow themselves to recalibrate themselves properly. All animals have stress. All animals are subject to stress. They get chased by lions, zebra chased by a lion. It happens all the time. But what happens? They can easily go right back to grazing. They can easily turn off the stress response immediately, go right back to parasympathetic mode. All is good. I beat the lion. He can't catch me. I'm good. It's different. It's different in human beings because we have so much power based upon writing the story. Learn how to write the right story. All right? So, again, relationships. That mirrors your calibration or lack thereof. Your coherence or incoherence. How about your money? Your internal ceiling is going to tell you how much money you're going to get. Internal ceiling. It's not external, it's internal. So based upon your own self-image, you're going to create your own ceiling. You're going to cap yourself. You're going to cap yourself. Instead of going harder, you're going to cap yourself. How about your health? That mirrors your stress load. If you keep on allowing yourself to get bombarded by a barrage of bad thought processes that you're sending out and bad experiences that you're not letting process through your head, you accumulate so much stress through cortisol, through inflammation, that your body's going to begin to shut down. Sexual energy. This reflects what? Safety, perception. I need to be safe. No sex. Libido is completely shut down. I need to be safe. Now your life is feeling like some fate. It's feeling like, oh, why is this happening to me? I need to go jump off of a cliff because I'm so tired. And God, why have you forsaken me? All this other crap. People just start talking crazy. Forget that they are a part of the whole thing. So literally you have the God within you. So you're creating experiences in your life. You're doing it, but you don't realize that you're doing it. So you're saying, it's my ex-wife's fault. It's my ex-husband's fault. It's my ex-girlfriend's fault. It's my ex-boyfriend's fault. It's my kid's fault. It's my boss's fault. My supervisor. Oh, man, you find everybody. If it ain't them, they die tomorrow, you find somebody brand new. You just gonna keep finding circumstances. Finding excuses, living by excuses. You're just in the prison of excuses. Again, your freedom begins when your excuses end. So, your life is based on patterning. That's what your life is based upon. If you don't understand that you can change the patterning, you need to change the patterning. Okay? And what starts this process mainly is you have to understand that you are the author. You are the author. Not just a narrator. You are the author. Okay? Let's talk about this pyramid right here. And so this pyramid is going to show you how we're going to get into the actual intervention piece of this. All right. So in the master causal pyramid, okay, we're going to start off at the bottom. And this is actually going to be pretty cool because I want you to understand how simplistic this is. At the base of this pyramid, it starts off with physiological foundation, meaning all of this is created based upon how you are on the inside. This is the simple concept that says as within, so without. So based upon something simple, like your sleep, your gut balance, your hormonal balance, even your strength and your muscle. What's happening here is you have to look at yourself and say, what foundation did you build for yourself to be able to have a successful experience, life experience. Okay? So let me also explain this, because we're gonna keep moving up in this pyramid. Based upon your physiology, your physiological foundation, how you set up your gut balance or lack thereof, your gut microbiome, how you set up your circadian clock. Are you sleeping with your circadian rhythm? Are you eating at midnight and some crazy stuff like that? You're supposed to be sleeping. You're supposed to be asleep. I would suggest that you try to look at your circadian clock and think of it as every 2 hours, there's a focus that's going through all the organs inside your body and it's highlighting each one. And so your energy is going through, and it's basically, I'm not going to say rescuing. I'm saying it's restoring the areas. So by 9 o'clock, you have what's called a triple burner, which is a foundation that's around your heart, to 11 p.m. At 11 p.m., your gallbladder, which is responsible for your stomach acid and your bile. This is the elements that are starting to collect, that are causing digestion, that are causing you to be able to produce energy from what you eat and drink. So right after that, 11 to 1 a.m., which is the gallbladder, 1 to 3 a.m. is the liver, which is your blood purifier, natural blood purifier. What happens overnight? You have what's called the lymphatic system cleansing, which is the cleansing of the debris and the waste material inside your brain. If you don't go to bed, if you aren't getting proper sleep, you aren't restoring yourself at all. If you're working yourself and you're overworking and you're up constantly, I do this now. I'm an entrepreneur, so you don't have a nightly schedule where every night I'm going to get 10 hours. That's probably not how it's going to work. No, it's probably not how it's going to work. But you can still figure out how to get yourself regulated through sleep, because you must clean your lymph. You must clean the lymph. So by interoception, at this next point of the pyramid, we are figuring out what the signals from our gut are telling us. We're figuring out how our breath rhythms, what are they telling us? Am I relaxed? Am I calm? Breathing deeply from my diaphragm? Or am I breathing shallow from my chest? How about muscle tension? Am I walking around armored and tense and contracted? Or am I relaxed? Am I relaxed? How about hormone shifts? Think about when people overeat. Think about people who are obese. That's a hormone imbalance. You have leptin, you have ghrelin. Think about leptin like, leave it alone. Think about ghrelin like, give me more. Leptin says, leave it alone, I'm full. Ghrelin says, give me more, I'm hungry. But when you have hormonal imbalances, you don't understand how to read these hormones. They're not firing and wiring in the brain the way that it's supposed to be. So now you don't even have hunger fullness cues anymore. You're unaware of yourself. This is why interoception is so important. When you're going back, this pyramid, we're now going to nervous system recalibration. That's vagal tone, cortisol rhythm, oxytocin regulation, and ANS, autonomic nervous system. We want to be in parasympathetic mode. We don't want to be in sympathetic mode all day long. We want to be in parasympathetic mode. Am I saying you're never going to be stressed at all? In terms of bad stress, there is good stress, which is called eustress. That's like exercise. That's like moving your body in a positive way. Something that's beneficial for your body. But then there's also distress. Distress is where you're afraid or you're running for your life. That's distress. You don't want to be running for your life sitting at your desk, making a presentation, running for your life. You have got to figure out how you feel, to recalibrate how you feel. And you must give yourself time and attention, and you must mainly give yourself what the body needs in order to recalibrate this system. Because if you don't recalibrate the system, you live in survival mode for the remainder of your life. So you change the patterning. You keep going. We have perception, interpretation. And mind you, this pyramid is almost the complete opposite of what happens whenever you have traumas that become your identity. We're going backwards. We're going backwards up this pyramid, and we're going right back to figure out how to get you what you need so that you can interpret this event differently. All right? So they have Prediction coding in your brain. Interpretation bias. Everyone has interpretation bias. You came from a certain culture. You came from a certain family. You came from a certain level of beliefs, whether it's religious, whether it's I'm black, or I'm brown skinned, or I'm Asian, or I'm Indian, or I'm white. Whatever it is, wherever you came from, whatever you learned subconsciously, you are basically biased towards that. So if someone's values do not equate to your own values, you'll say that they're wrong. They're not wrong. They have their own values that do not agree with your own. You don't go shoot them because they don't agree with your value system. That's not how it works. You just go learn what their value system is and understand why they think like that. Same thing with them to you. Then you can have harmony and say, you know what? I agree to disagree. I'm not going to kill you because of it. Unfortunately, you have petty leaders all over the world who don't understand how to be grown men or grown women. And they have little boys and girls, so you have a bunch of adult children fighting over being petty. That's pretty much it. Next, you have behavioral patterns. This is big because what is this? This is your style of conflict. If somebody tells you something, do you take it personally? If someone says, hey, you're looking a little fat, do you get that and say, you can't call me that? What you mean? Do you just ask simple questions and say, are they telling me the truth? Or do you skip over that and emotionally react as soon as possible in defense mode? Is that what you do? That is a conflict style. Do you just walk out when you don't want to hear something? That's the truth. I get it. The truth hurts. I understand. It doesn't mean you got to walk out every single time somebody tells you the truth. You should probably sit there and take that. Listen to it. If a person really cares about you and really loves you, they'll tell you the truth, regardless if you want to hear that shit or not. They're going to tell you the truth. They're going to come to you and speak the truth because they want you to be better for yourself, which then makes you better for everyone else because you're providing constructive interference, good vibes, instead of walking around destructively interfering with everybody else's energy. That's why. If you're an athlete on a team and your coach is hounding you, sometimes your coach may be a dick just because they want to be. But sometimes they may care about you. They may want you to be the best of yourself and maximize your true potential because they see it in you. Don't get mad. If somebody's trying to direct you and tell you to be disciplined and tell you to show up every single day. That's discipline. Discipline is not beating your kids with a fucking belt. It's redirection. Discipline is Monday through Sunday, I'm showing up consistently. That's discipline. Discipline is self-love. So you see people who are crying because someone loves them enough to say, hey, show up. Meet me here. Let's go do this. And they get mad. They don't love themselves enough. Most relationships fall. They fail. They just fall from grace because you have one party that loves the other party more than that person loves themselves. I'll say it again. You have two people in a relationship. One person loves the other person more than that person loves themselves. That's hard. It's hard to take that kind of love. Because that's the love that says, I'm accountable. You see? Again, conflict style. Attachment behavior. You can have people who bond based on event traumas, perceived traumas. This is a problem when you have a high performance person and a mediocre person. That don't work. So don't think for one moment that you're going to be able to be some billionaire entrepreneur and you're going to have a mediocre partner. That shit ain't going to work. You better have somebody with big vision. You better have a big vision and they have a big vision too. You can't have a big vision and try to share it with somebody who has a small-minded way of thinking. Somehow, some way along the pathway, you're going to clash. You can't do it. And I'm telling you right now, beforehand, this is where you're going to see all these high value divorces happen. Bezos, Bill Gates. You can even see, who else? Shoot, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. I can just start listing them. As a matter of fact, I was just reading an article about Tyrese Gibson. Tyrese, the actor and the singer. And talking about his child support issues and things like that. Look, y'all can sign prenups if you want to, but let's talk about an energy prenup. Make someone list out their vision. Make someone list out their values. And first of all, see if this person's mind is where your mind is at. Because your mind may be through the clouds, and their mind may not even be off the damn sidewalk. You trying to go to the clouds for somebody who can't leave the sidewalk. You're going to kill them. So it's your fault. You should already know. They're going to be small-minded thinking. It doesn't matter, again, where they come from. And all that's bullshit. I came from a small place, too. It doesn't matter. It matters about what you feel inside your head with what you can do. That's what matters. So, people do bond off of traumatic experience that they perceive as traumas. People do have bad habits, which are behavioral patterns. How about mistaken goals? Those are habits. You habitually go towards the mistaken goal. You habitually start checking your Instagram, taking snapshots to see if anybody's liked, subscribed to your page. Because you're getting your energy from your attention. Not from you giving internal attention. You're getting your energy from external attention and validation. Those are your habits. Laziness. How about working out, not working out? Behavioral patterns. And then what happens through all of this up to this pyramid? Outer life events. Now here's the issue. Most people will say it was the divorce. It was the abandonment. My mom yelled at me. She called me fat when I was younger. I didn't get to go anywhere. I didn't get to do anything. I didn't have any money. I grew up poor. You start finding all types of events inside your life, and you just hold on to these events. Am I saying that these events never occurred? No, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you that the way you interpret them is what matters. Your life is not over because you got raped. Your life is not over because you got fired. Your life is not over because you got dumped. Your life is not over because you got shot. I had a best friend, he got shot. Did it himself. Because of his lifestyle choices. He's still here. He's thriving. He had to make a choice, though. It was hard for him to make a choice at first, but he made it. Change your story up. You'll begin to see that these out-of-life events are going to change as you change your own story. So your relationships, which is one. Your finances, that's another one. I lost everything. 5 years ago, I lost everything. Scam, financial scams. I was so naive about going to get funding and looking and going to make pictures to everyone. I didn't know who else was making pictures to. I didn't vet anybody. This is during COVID time, 2020. You couldn't go into people's offices because people didn't want to meet you because everybody was wearing masks. They didn't want to shake your hand. What kind of crap was going on? I didn't know that this stuff was not even real. Get played, business email compromise, people taking their emails and people fraudulently their identity theft. I had all this stuff happen to me. Lost everything I had. Had my truck repossessed on my ex-wife's birthday. Watching it drive away. Got put out my space. Went back home to Georgia for a couple of months. Couldn't stay there. Couldn't even stay at my parents' house. Couldn't even stay at my mom's house. They didn't want me to stay there. Probably just because of fear, but I was just going through. I completely understand. Everything. I can sit there and cry. I can sit there and pout. I can sit there and be upset and be angry. Or I can just get up. I got divorced. I lost everything. What I thought was real was not real. All I had to do was understand why. Why did this happen to me? What did I do or not do? And take ownership of it, responsibility of it, and I changed all of it. Sexual expression. This is a big one because what happens is you turn your sexual expression off completely. You either turn it on or you turn it off based upon all of this. Physiological foundation, interoception. You don't want to have sex when you're tired. You don't want to have sex when you're acidic either. When you're sick, you're not feeling good. You don't want to express your body when you ain't trained it, when you're overweight, when you look good in the mirror. Now attract it to yourself. I don't believe in body positivity. I believe in self-discipline. I don't believe in being positive about not doing anything. Because I believe, again, self-discipline is self-love. So if I'm disciplined, I can get up Monday to Sunday and go walking or lift some weights. Go get a pair of dumbbells at my house and I can move myself however I want to move myself. It is not that complicated. What's complicated is the inferiority complexes saying I'm inadequate, I'm not enough, or superiority saying I'm bigger than working out. Leadership. This is a style you're going to have to get to because leadership is big. How do you lead? With honesty and integrity? How do you lead? Or do you just lead with domination and aggressiveness all the time? Or are you respectable because you respect yourself? Here's the thing. Do you respect yourself? Are you demanding it from the outside? You haven't done it from the inside. Now again, you are the only person in the history of your life that has heard every lie that you've told. So do not expect anyone to respect someone that can't even look at themselves in the mirror and tell the truth to themselves at every moment in time and point in space. Don't get mad at somebody for behaving the way you behave towards yourself. They're just mirroring the way that you behave towards yourself. Leadership, to me, you can have leadership by example. You can also have patience. You can also have kindness, but just be honest. That's the best leader, the honest one. The greatest one is the honest one. And ultimately, at the top, at this capstone, you have your identity. Who are you really? Based upon your own self-image. That's the main thing. Now, we're going to intervene. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix this entire thing by, first of all, restoring your minerals. You need to restore the minerals of your body. This is what all the food you eat converts into minerals. 12 mineral cell salts, the main thing. Every piece of food that you eat is going to be restored based upon your minerals. Next is going to be your sleep. That's the biggest thing for you. Go to bed. You gotta go to bed. You have an emotional diet. People have an emotional diet. They get up at whatever time and they all of a sudden just start eating. They do things that don't actually provide them with what they need. So sleep will provide you with what you need. How about number 2, releasing your armor? Somatic movement. But just movement in general. Movement in general. Walking, if you can't do much right now, just go walk. But after that, go find some weight. Go find some resistance. Strength through length. You can do Jefferson curls, hanging over the top. You can do squats. Body squats are the best thing for anybody. Body squats is the best exercise for anyone to do. You must release the armor. Breathe through every movement. Don't worry about your weight. Worry about the contraction that you are causing. How about number 3? Recalibrate interoception. You must understand how to feel. How to feel. How to check whether you eat something, do you become hot or cold? If you are breathing shallow through your chest or through your diaphragm deeply. If you have muscle tension. If you all of a sudden have a spike in depressed feeling, what's going on? That's interoception. You must understand that you must recalibrate this interoception. Pay attention to yourself. That's what you gotta do. And this is also a form of what's called metacognition, which is thinking about what you've been thinking about. Do you know what you think about all day? Because you must become what you think about most of the time. If you don't know what you're thinking about, then you really got a problem. Because you're moving through the space unconsciously. We're all master manifestors. Everyone in this lifetime is a master manifestor. But you don't know what you're manifesting. Because you ain't paying no damn attention. You're just driving blind. Meditation, perfect. Ask a simple question. Who am I? What's my purpose? Ask big questions and just start closing your eyes. Go get a sleep mask. Put some Solvesio sound frequencies on. You can get them on YouTube. Play some binaural beats to your headphones. Just close your eyes for a little bit and ask powerful questions. Next one. Recode your language. How do you speak to yourself or about yourself, to yourself? Is it negative? Is it victim? Is it I can't do this? Are you sure it's okay? Are you sure I look good? Are you sure I smell good? Are you sure I sound good? Are you sure it tastes good? Why aren't you sure? When are you going to be sure? What language do you speak with? Confidence? Or are you always going to be a victim all the time? You got to figure that part out. Because your language is going to tell you how your heart feels. Next, retrain intimacy energy. This is powerful because it basically allows you to be magnetic. I would find someone that you can be safe with. I would find someone that you do love, you do care about, you do choose to be able to be vulnerable with. And have experiences, sexual experiences that are powerfully intimate and also free. There's freedom in it. There's no restriction. There's no judgment. Mainly from yourself. All right? And I'm going to tell you right now, don't go be the overweight 200-pound man trying to go find a fucking supermodel. She don't want your ass like that. Something that you have, she wants that. But she doesn't want you. Don't be no idiot. That's not what she wants. She may see a projection of what you could be, but she don't want what you are right now. No. Mm-mm. Same thing other way around. Women don't do it. Don't go find the sexy man. You can't look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm sexy. Don't do that. Don't do that. They don't really want you. It's going to end up badly. So, retrain your intimacy energy. That's based upon three things, main things. Okay, vulnerability. Okay, next one's going to be accountability. Then last is going to be transparency. You got to be transparent, see through. You got to be a person that is okay saying, I don't know. You got to be a person letting someone take the lead, raising your orgasmic potency, an element of surrender. Sexual potency, ability to perform sexual act. How about lastly, install your chosen goal? That's the last thing. Installing the new chosen goal is going to be the epitome of where it's going to take you to new heights in your life. Not the mistaken goal. I want the goal of I'm a millionaire. I want the goal of I'm a billionaire. I want the goal of I'm happily married with kids, living on a farm. Or I want the goal of I'm going to have 1 million followers. Whatever your goal is, choose that goal and do that. And that goal is now going to drive you to change all of this. The new goal. That's your intervention piece that stops these traumatic misperceptions that were your identity. Okay? Now, remember this. Emotions are a record of the past and they are stored inside your body. So, this is the thing that you have to be careful of. Your body's not always right. Alright? People say your body has wisdom. That's right. To an extent, that is correct. What I'm expressing to you is your body has wisdoms and you must know what those actual foundations that your body's reading is telling you. Because again, your body's not always right. So what are gut feelings? People say, well, I have this gut feeling that this is happening to me. That this person is, good or bad or not good for my energy. Okay, what's actually happening? Gut feelings are going to be consisting of inflammation of the gut lining, cortisol pumped into the gut, sleep deprivation, which is stopping you literally from cleansing your system because you cleanse your system overnight, trauma pairing, traumatic experiences, they are paired through chemistry. You are attracted to the same person, same chemistry as you. Blood sugar instability. Either you eating and it's raising, you're not eating and it's lowering, you have an acidic diet, changing your pH. I've been plant-based for 9 years, and I love it. I'm never going back to anything. No eggs, no dairy, no meat, nothing. Nothing of that nature. Because there's no energy. There's no light. So now that I'm eating for light, I'll join people who also eat for the light and who are also light beings. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It protects me all the time. But I can read my gut feelings because I'm coherent. I'll give you questions to understand this. Because I'm coherent, I'm drawing in from my broadcasting station, my brain. I'm receiving the right things to come back to me. How about anxiety? Anxiety is not guidance. Y'all think that all of a sudden, if I get excited or if I'm anxious for something, that I'm being told yes or no, left or right. Hell no. I'm going to tell you right now. Anxiety is mainly sympathetic resonance, ANS system, autonomic nervous system. That means you're flooded with cortisol. That means you're flooded with norepinephrine. You're flooded with adrenaline. You have to get to parasympathetic resonance. Parasympathetic, which is rest and digest. That's what you want. Because then you're going to be calm, relaxed, rest and digest. And what happens is, because you're relaxed, you'll be able to see the things in front of you with accuracy. You have an increased heart rate whenever you're anxious. You have shortness of breath whenever you're anxious. You have armored muscle whenever you're anxious. You also have a conversion focus whenever you're anxious. You can't think of possibilities because they don't have any. That's why whenever you're anxious, and whenever you have these gut feelings inside your body, do not make any choices. Refrain from choice making. Now, here's where we're going to end up. Before trusting your gut, I want you to ask these questions. First question, am I physiologically stable right now? That means, did you eat? Did you sleep? Did you sleep good? Did you eat well? Are you hydrated? Because dehydration causes stress. Stress is dehydration, and the other way around. So, those are the things. Am I physiologically stable right now? Because here's where the foundation of what's going to be your identity when you're walking throughout your entire day. You're going to look at sleep, gut balance, hormonal balance, strength and muscle. Did you go to the gym? Have you been missing days? Have you been consistent? You feeling strong? You feeling weak? Second question, is my breath slow and regulated? If it's not, you're going to be racing because you're going to be anxious. We don't need to be trusting our gut when we're in anxiety. How about third question? Is my body relaxed or armored? Held tight, contracted, and armored. If it's relaxed, you're allowing something to come in. Your cells are in allowing mode, surrendering to the present moment. If it's armored, you're holding tight in fight or flight or freeze. How about, am I reacting to memory or responding to the present? Because people are going to be reacting to these events that have been going because their emotions are a record of the past. So you're living from the past. You can't even see an outcome in the future. So you're not reacting to the present moment. You're reacting to something that happened in your past. Last question. Would I interpret this the same way after I sleep? I'm telling you this how simplistic this is. If you just looked at it from, did you get enough rest last night? Did you go to bed on time? Were you up? Were you stressed out about something and you stayed up all night? Before you go to bed is one of the most important times of your day. Because the next day begins when you lay your head down from the previous one. Make sure to begin to keep a journal, to keep a planner, daily planner. Write down tomorrow before bed so you can process what's going to happen tomorrow before you go to sleep at night. Those are just some simple things for you to change, for you to see. But I hope you guys learned just how the human experience actually happens from a physiological perspective to a perception, nervous system perspective, and how you see all these other life events that occur inside somebody's life experience, why they occur. Hope this video helped you guys. like, share, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, peace.